I feel like I'm introducing myself to a solo. Hello, my name is Melissa Venzke. I don't know. I am a 30-year-old female who loves Jesus. A fun fact about me is I'm known for my earrings, and the day I die, I want my tombstone to say "She who wore earrings." It's a goal of mine.
All right.
So I don't know. It's a random fact.
And now it's documented. We
Yeah.
have proof that this is your.
I have always, I don't mean to ruin the music aspect. I don't know if we're gonna pull that in, but with music, I've always getting my degree as a music performance major. I hate it. I hate being in the spotlight, but I love being in the spotlight, and taking those two verses into mind, God has given me so much joy. I love taking care of people. And one of the fruits of the Spirit is joy.
Yeah.
And so, I guess that's a really weighted question.
Your favorite, though.
Yeah, I did. I told you I love weighted questions. I want to be, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. I will be with you wherever you go. Especially, I think, today with everything happening with racism, what happened to George Floyd. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. I'm with you wherever you go. And being in the emergency room, having the very medics who picked up George Floyd, having people bash the healthcare workers was very hard for us, and it hurt us really deeply. To think that they didn't think that we tried, when this is the work, these are the people that we work with every day. This is our community. You must become less so he can become more. I've learned so much about the fruit of the Spirit of having joy. Working in the emergency room, you're surrounded by a lot of broken people and a lot of burnt out healthcare workers. And me becoming less is not becoming that. Not becoming bitter, not becoming, cruel to my patients. And him becoming more is keeping that fruit of the Spirit and staying positive, having joy. I once received on my review, they made the comment of wanting to duplicate, have more of me. I wish we could just create more of her. And whenever I'm around, I laugh and I smile, and I don't know where she finds her joy. And I know where I find my joy. And that's something that God's given me in a really dark environment. But I have to stay grounded. I have to pull from Joshua 1:9 and know that do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. I will go with you wherever you go. Have I not commanded you? And remember that even though this isn't where I want to be forever, this is where he's asked me to be. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's a relationship. It's trusting, he knows what's best for us. And he knows what's best for us. Oh, does he not? Hindsight is such a funny thing. But yeah, it's some days I really fail, and some days I know I've made him proud, but some days I can be really crotchety. That's usually when I'm working too much, but I think that's also just being a human. Yeah. Grew up in the church, love God, did a couple years of music in Wisconsin, and I felt like God was calling me to, I knew he spoke into my life that he wanted me to sing at a youth camp, and the very worship team that actually was where he wanted me to go was there, and I met them, and so I remembered that moment. I know this is what God's calling me to do. I went back, I changed all of my classes. They were all art related because I wanted to be an art teacher. Changed all of them to music because I felt everything within me told me that God was telling me to do music. Did a few years at there, learned so much that it's not an easy journey, but trusted God. And when the time came for me to be done, I knew in my heart he wanted me to go to Fort Myers Master's Commission. But I was scared. I have a really hard time trusting him with my finances because not sometimes, like all the time, it's really hard for me to realize that he's my Heavenly Father who wants to provide for me. And that's a big thing for me that I'm learning in my journey. So I said no, and I went to North Central. I almost had a dropout because finances, it was very clear. I got there and my spirit was just like, turn around. This isn't what I want you to do. And I was disobedient and I didn't listen. And then I finished the semester and then I'm like, okay, you win. And I went to Fort Myers for 2 years and completely changed my life. I learned that my gift of the Spirit is healing. I learned that I had a lot of pain and hurt that I had suppressed. That I had to believe that God wanted to heal me before I could go out and heal other people. The gift of healing is it's a hard spiritual gift, because you have to get out of the way of yourself and think, like, this isn't about me. This has nothing to do with me. I'm a vessel. It's everything to do with believing that God is just going to use me and has nothing to do with my abilities. And so I was there for 3 years, and then God called me back to North Central. So I came back here and finished my music degree, which was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. It changed me. I'm not the same woman I was when I started my journey. Oh my gosh, not at all. I have so much less fear. My joy is everything to me. He taught me that the joy of the Lord is my strength, and that I can only get it from him. Joshua 1:9 is a big thing for me. Like, be strong, be courageous, know that God is with you. But I love in the beginning of the verse it says, have I not said, like in a way of saying that, have I not commanded you? Because my relationship with God, sometimes he can be a little snarky with me, like, Melissa, have I not commanded you? Because I don't, like, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, like, I am with you. And he always, like, I'll randomly be discouraged and he'll just whisper, I'm right here, I'm right here, I'm right here. And it almost makes me mad because I'm just like, I know, you keep telling me that, I know. But that verse, Joshua 1:9, like, have I not commanded you? Be strong, be courageous, do not be afraid. A big one for me too is John 3:30. And I love that verse because it's like, I have to become less and he has to become more. Because when I become so much me and when I'm so constantly aware of myself, he becomes less, and I think about him less, and I think about why I'm here on the earth, and it's so beautifully humbling. Like, I want to become less, like, because the more he is in my life and the more I see him and the more I see people in him, like, the less I want to be. Like, I just want less of myself. Reflection, I think, is a really big thing for me. I think it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day thing, but the way I find myself that, like, God reminds me to be grounded is just sometimes even going back through my photos on my phone and being like, wow, I have an amazing family. I have amazing friends. I've been able to see, like, so much of the world. I have a great job. I feel respected in my job. And getting to reflect and really, truly grounding yourself and, like, realizing I'm on this earth. I'm very lucky. God has a purpose for me. That grounds me. So I think it's like kind of constant meditation, like pulling yourself back in. And just, it's funny, like having the technology of just going through all these amazing photos and like remembering how blessed I am. So music therapy is, I think we do it every day and we don't even know it.
Okay.
You're sad, you turn on your favorite song, it helps you. I don't know why when we're sad we listen to sad music, because like maybe because it just like helps us feel what we're trying to feel. But it is taking music and it helps, and it changes the wavelengths of your brain actually, and it helps people use different areas of their brain to express themselves. Like you can look up on TED Talks things like people going into nursing homes, people who can't respond, who don't speak like even when they're spoken to. You turn on their favorite jazz song and they start like snapping their finger, like, and it is a different area of your brain to express things. They've figured out that people have had major car accidents, they can't speak but they can sing, because it's a different area of our brain that we use. And so using music therapy is a way of, God's explained it to me is this: he wants to take back music for his glory. He wants music to heal people again. He wants to use the one thing that everyone listens to music. It doesn't matter what culture you're in, it doesn't matter what country you're in, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your sex, it doesn't matter what religion you are. Every person is affected by music every single day. I listened, like I was walking over here, I was listening to music. I'm getting ready in the morning, I'm listening to music. I'm falling asleep. Maybe I'll turn on some music to fall asleep to. Like, music is my life. Mm-hmm. And he really showed me that that's what he wanted all along. He just wants to take back music for people. I think all of us, if we're honest with ourselves, are busy, especially in the world that we live in. If you're busy, you're succeeding, right? Yeah. If you don't do a lot, it means that you're stagnant and you're lazy. But that's not necessarily true. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I achieve or how much respect I have from those around me or how much money I have or don't have in the bank. Like we were saying before, like at the end of the day, when the race is over, God isn't looking at how much is in your bank. He's not looking at how popular you were. He's looking at how much did they love me and how much did they fight for other people to know my love for them. I don't know, just to summarize it is that we're imperfect people. Such imperfect people. But the Bible gives us those tools to stay grounded, to pray, to read his promises. Like we literally have a book that has so many beautiful quotes of how to live our lives, and yet how often do we read it? Like, I'm such a big words person. I love quotes. I love words. I love inspirational stuff like that. And God literally used so many people to write that for me. All of us. Like, why would I take that for granted? So I know the tools that I have in front of me. It's just choosing to use those tools. The biggest piece of advice that I would have given my younger self is to stop worrying so much about what other people think of me. Give myself a break. You know, perfectionism it's so defeating. And to not compare your journey with other people's. It's a huge thing. It's a huge, huge, huge thing. My life is mine. Your life is yours. Anyone who watches this, your life is yours, and it's not the person sitting next to you. So for myself, and something I'll remind myself, my younger self, my future self, is that it doesn't matter how many years you're in a season, God has you in those seasons for a reason. And just remain in them and listen to his voice. And when you really give God your life fully, your relationships, your career, your very being, like, he's the creator. He's the greatest artist ever. he created the greatest artists that we like make museums for. Um, yeah, it's just I allowed him to completely just like repaint my canvas.